Hello, everyone. Welcome to Soul Shift Saturdays. I'm Kat Sticker, and I'm your host for this show. And today we're going to talk about how alignment can affect your relationships. Now, you remember that alignment is one of the pillars of wellness, one of the secondary pillars. So that's our pillar for today's topic. But first, I just wanted to share something personal with you that came through to me today from the wind. And so there's kind of a long story behind it because that y'all have heard before on Soul Shift Thursdays, where back in spring, the wind blew into my garden a little pumpkin seed. And this little pumpkin seed, I wasn't expecting to plant pumpkins in my garden. It's more of an herb garden, and I have roses in there. So when this big plant started growing with these giant leaves, I was like, what on earth is that? It didn't look like a weed. So I took a picture of it with an app that identifies plants, and it said it was a pumpkin. So I was like, wow, a pumpkin. And the whole family's like, wow, pumpkins. So this pumpkin has been growing all spring and summer, and now the vine has meandered around the whole garden and out of the garden, around the yard, and now it's going around a tree. It's about, 20, 30 foot long. It's really long, and it just continues to grow, and it has these giant yellow flowers on it. It's beautiful. And so when I was connecting with the wind today, the wind just pointed out to me, first of all, the message that I had previously received from the wind about the pumpkin plant was that the wind there's many gifts on the wind that brings to you maybe unexpectedly. And that's a beautiful message. But today there was also the message that, hey, it's not the bountiful harvest that's the most important thing. It's the journey to get there, the journey to get to the pumpkins, because we're all wondering, are we going to get a lot of pumpkins? I mean, we have tons of flowers on this thing. Are we going to have all these pumpkins growing? Well, does it even matter if there's pumpkins ever grow on that thing? The flowers have been beautiful, and just watching it grow, and watching the journey of this pumpkin vine grow in the yard, and wondering where it's going next. And that was the message that the wind brought today. It was a metaphor for our life or our spiritual journey, that it's not necessarily, I'm always talking to you guys about setting goals and how we want to achieve our goals, and we're setting all these spiritual aspirations and physical aspirations. But there's being present on the way to get there. That's just as important as getting there. It's what happens on the way. What all did you learn on the way? I mean, isn't that maybe a lot more valuable than whenever you get to the final goal? So the wind has a lot of wisdom to bring us, and it brings it through metaphors. The pumpkin vine is continuously bringing those types of lessons that, wow, I mean, you've always heard of enjoy the journey, but it's really true. And it didn't really hit me that much until the pumpkin metaphor. So I just want to share that to you. And that's part of the mindfulness, right, of being present as we go through life, and not just focused on the future or focused on the past. Be focused on the here and now, and enjoy and be grateful for the things that you have in this moment, because things are always changing, right? Those flowers aren't going to last forever. They'll fall off. So let's appreciate the beauty and the gift of those flowers now. So how's everyone doing? Let me know if the sound's okay. I'm using a different option for the microphone today because I've had a lot of problems with the sound going in and out. And so now today, instead of like a standalone microphone, I'm using the microphone on the webcam, which you wouldn't think would be as good as like a professional microphone, but in testing of this thing, it is working better. Oh, great. I'm glad this sounds okay. And also, I've had some trouble in the past with the audio when I'm trying to play audio for meditation. And so today we're going to attempt to do that with the microphone on the camera, and it worked fine in the test, in the practice. So, I am trying with the audio. You guys, that's the hardest part of doing a show is the audio. So what we're going to do today is talk about this topic of how alignment can affect relationships and what it can look like. What are some examples? And I have 5 or 6 examples to give you of what it can look like if you're not in alignment in a relationship. And that is alignment with your higher self, not with the other person. That's a whole different issue, alignment with the other person. This is alignment with your higher self and how that affects relationships. And then what can, you really do about that? And at the end, we'll do a meditation to connect with your higher self and get into some sort of alignment, or get started on that if you're not already. Now, many people are, and if you're already feel like you're in perfect alignment with your higher self, it probably wanes in and out, right? Then you can skip this exercise today, but always come back to it. It'll be recorded in the Soul Shifters Guild Facebook group and on our Moonglow Life YouTube channel. You know what? I don't think the recordings stay on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch and you want to see a replay, you probably need to go to our Moonglow Life YouTube channel or the Facebook Soul Shifters Guild group. All right. So what happens if you're not in alignment with your higher self? Now, remember, the pillars of wellness are mind, body, spirit, alignment, abundance, and harmony. So we're in the alignment pillar today. And all of these are interrelated, right? So like if the body's out of whack, if the mind's out of whack, if the spirit's out of whack, if alignment's out of whack, they all kind of affect each other. So, but as the show goes, I like to focus on one pillar at a time. Now, sometime in the future, as we get more advanced, we may combine pillars into shows. So if you're not in alignment with your higher self or your energy centers, so what are your energy centers? I'm not just talking about the chakras. I'm talking about the energy that you align with at soul level, like your soul blueprint. Like, who are you? What are your gifts, your spiritual gifts and talents? Who are you supposed to be? Who did you decide to be in this life? And what are your core beliefs? And what are your values? Those are all things that you can align to. And when you're not acting in alignment with those, it can make you seem inauthentic. It can make you seem out of control or hypocritical, right? So those are kind of things that can affect your relationships. And we're going to look at those, a few of those things one at a time. So let me give you the first example here. Now, first of all, you could appear to be hypocritical by having double standards, like you're trying to hold someone to a standard, like you're not a clean person, all your stuff's messy, but then your own stuff's messy, or you're criticizing the way that they treat some of their pillars of wellness, maybe their spiritual life or their health practices, but then you're not really practicing what you're preaching. And a lot of times we see that between parents and children, right? Like the parent will be like, do as I say, not as I do. Well, when you're acting in a way that you don't believe in, that's not really in alignment with yourself. You're acting out of alignment, and people notice that. The kids notice that, and then you lose a bit of credibility, so it can affect those relationships. And certainly if you're doing that with your partner, that's probably going to lead to some friction because they're going to be like, huh, what? Pot calling the kettle black kind of thing, So that's probably not going to fly with some people. At first, they'll be like, wait a minute, did he just call me fat or whatever? And look at him, he's like huge, or whatever it is, whatever the thing is. So that's one thing we need to be mindful of. Now, another one is expecting mind reading. What I mean by this is when you're not communicating well or clearly with your partner or another person, and you kind of think they know what you're talking about, or they should know what you're talking about. They know you well enough. They should know what you want. And like a simple example would be, this is like a kind of a cliched couples thing where the man asks the woman what she wants for dinner and she can't make up her mind. And then he suggests something, everything. She's like, oh, whatever you want. And then anything he suggests, no, I don't want that. No, I don't want seafood. No, I don't want Chinese. No, I don't, and he's like, oh my God, what do you want? Oh, whatever you want. It's fine. It's fine. So that's kind of the thing I'm talking about. But, the food thing is minor. This could also apply to larger things in a relationship. And it's something that can be easily cured by just clearly communicating what you want. But what if the reason you're not communicating what you want is because you don't really know what you want? You're not aligned with your higher self or your needs, wants, and desires, right? You don't know. And so maybe you need to do a little self-exploration if you find yourself doing that, because it is annoying to the other person if you do that. And believe me, I've been guilty of doing that many times. So it's something that you may not even be aware of. And this is what we'll talk about as we go here. So not communicating what you want because you don't really know, and then getting mad because you didn't know what you want, right? What? Seems obvious. All right, now 3, making commitments you don't really want. Now this could apply to a lot of different situations that I can think of. But what if it's something like, if you're talking about a partner, you're committing to a longer term relationship, because they want that or they think you want that. And so you even agree to get engaged, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm sorry I got engaged. I don't really want to get married, but now I'm kind of stuck in that. Like making commitments to things you don't really want. Maybe it's a financial commitment. Like, oh, we agreed to buy this house together, or we agreed to commit this much of our funds to something in the budget that I don't really agree with. These are not being true to yourself. And sometimes we have to compromise, right, with our partner, but you should also make it clear that that's not what you really want. And that doesn't mean that you can't compromise, but pretending like that's what you want and then getting mad about it later because you didn't get what you want is, and holding the other person responsible for that. That's where the problems exist, right? It's almost like going back to the double standards thing. You're the one who agreed to a commitment, and then the other person can't help if that's not what you wanted, right? If you didn't make that clear. So that's standing firm in what your values are, what you intend to do. You're in control of your decisions. And so making a commitment that's not going to work out for you and you're not really going to stay committed to in the long run, you kind of have one foot out the door on that already, is going to lead to conflict at some point, most likely. All right, let's see. Another one, behaving inauthentically. Now, when you're not aligned with your values, or you're trying to be somebody that you're not. Like, you want this person to think you have it all together. You're not flaky at all. You're, for a period of time, you're being the person you think they want you to be. But that's not who you are in your heart. Or it makes them upset or mad potentially when you express your needs, wants, and desires. And so you're trying to avoid conflict. Anything where you're not behaving in an authentic way that's genuine to yourself, you're not going to come across as genuine. And in the long run, if they find out who you really are, will they still like you? I mean, that's kind of goes to the number 5 that we're going to get to in a minute. But you are who you are, and you want someone to love you for who you are. And sometimes this is really big in our working relationships, because, you know, you have your work persona and you have your home persona, and they may be completely different because you don't think your home persona would be acceptable at work. That's not how you really are. But then that makes you feel at work maybe a little uncomfortable. You feel like you're an imposter, you're going to be found out or whatever. It's better to just be yourself and act in alignment with your heart. Now, if you don't know who you are and you're not being genuine because you don't know, or you've changed, you know, you've grown, you've evolved, and you've become more aligned with your higher self, and people don't like those changes as you display them. So you kind of put that mask back on as to how you were behaving before. You're not going to be as abundant in your life. You're not going to get back abundance because you're out of alignment. So you want to try to act in accordance with your core beliefs, with your values, with who you are inside, with what your talents and gifts are, and that kind of thing. Because otherwise, it's going to come back on you in a negative way with other people. And you may think you can keep that mask on all the time, and maybe you can, but does that feel good to you? Is that you want to live like that in a fake way? I don't know. I did for a long time, and I've done it I've had a lot of different personas for a lot of different people, and none of those felt comfortable for me. So I made a decision to find out who I am at soul level and to live in accordance with that. And it has really changed my life for the better in a wonderful way. And, you know, there may be relationships that you do have to give up because of that, where it's not going to work out if you act like who you are. And that's part of that decision. You know, there may be changes in your relationships because of that. But is that better than living in fake relationships? And I think it is. I think it is. But you have to make that decision for yourself. All right, number 5. And I'm not seeing any comments coming through. So if you have comments, please leave them. And I will get over to the comments tab. Now, feeling insecure and having low self-esteem. This is a result of not standing in your own power because you don't think you have any. And this is very common in today's society to have a lot of insecurity, anxiety, and low self-esteem, even at a very young age. And we see this in a lot in teenagers. And when you start seeing it in them, you're like, oh my gosh, you are so amazing. And you can't even see it. That just kind of breaks my heart when I see people who have no idea how divine they are, how amazing they are, how many gifts they have to give to the world, and they diminish themselves. In their mind, they're nothing. They're no reason to like them. I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm, you know, whatever. all these feelings of insecurity and low self-esteem, that is definitely out of alignment with your higher self, because in your higher self, you have a beautiful purpose. You are divine, you're a creator, and you have the ability to connect with other people and share your gifts with them in a loving way and receive love from them. And you're deserving of love. You're deserving of acceptance. And all that love and acceptance is available to you in the collective consciousness. Now, in here in your local community, you may run into resistance from people who are not, awake to the divineness. Kids are really mean to each other, right? They'll make fun of each other to make themselves feel better, or just to group up against somebody. And so that's one thing that causes those feelings of insecurity and low self-esteem, obviously. And that affects us the rest of our lives. We get traumatized from that. And a lot of times it's our parents don't accept the way we are. Maybe they don't accept our sexuality or the path that we're choosing to go down. But what we have to do in order to kind of get around that is to not care as much about what other people think, and not have to have that validation from people who are not awake and who don't really care about us or love us as they should, because they probably do love us at some divine level, right? At some higher level of consciousness, they probably do love us. But here in this day-to-day 3D reality, they don't love us. They're mean people, and can really hurt our self-esteem. So you have to learn to kind of block that out and connect with your higher self, realize who you are. And that's easier said than done. It's a lifetime of work, and you may have to just keep revisiting that. And that's a shame that we have to put that much effort and energy into alignment to make us overcome those feelings. But what happens when you're insecure and you have low self-esteem? You end up in relationships with people who take advantage of you, who are a lot of times like attracted to those type of people so they can manipulate them and use it, just totally use it against you to control you. And some of those people feel good by making you feel even worse. Or your relationship doesn't last because they're like, this person doesn't even care about themselves. They have such low self-esteem. I want to be with someone who is more of a goddess type person. So there's several ways that it can go wrong for you in relationships. And also, you don't want to demonstrate that type of behavior to like people who look up to you, those type of relationships, like your kids or other people that you mentor, or maybe people that you lead at work, because then they might emulate that, right? So anyway, that's some ways that can affect your relationships. And then giving into addictions or excess, that really is when you're out of alignment with your higher self and you're trying to compensate for the pain it causes you. And so addictions are terrible and destroy relationships and destroy lives. Once you have an addiction, it's kind of a lifelong thing that you're fighting that. And some people are born with more tendency for addictions than others, and a lot of that's physical, right? But giving into these addictions, that's an alignment thing. Now, I've experienced addictions in my lifetime, and it is really hard to ditch those things, but the more aligned you are to that divine energy, the easier it is to say no and stay clear and put boundaries around those situations. And I am, very empathetic for people who are experiencing addictions. And I know it's very hard to get out of that kind of situation. So there are a lot of good programs to help people who have different types of addictions, whether it's to a substance, like some kind of substance abuse where it's shopping or gambling or sex or whatever. There's all kinds of programs that can help, and you get people to help support you. But if you're out of alignment with your higher self, it's going to be exponentially harder for you to get past that. And of course, addictions are going to destroy your relationships because people can't understand why you keep doing so much of one thing, that it's causing you to care more about that one thing than you care about what happens to other people. All right. So how do we know if any of these things are causing problems in our relationships? Like, how do you even recognize that problem? Well, first of all, I would say you need to know yourself. Who are you at soul level? And how can you even know who you are at soul level? How would I know? I feel, when I was younger, it was like I was a different person every day. It was almost like I had multiple personality disorder, which I didn't have that, but I just felt so changeable. And one day I like this, and the next day I like this, and I thought I was aligned to this, and I thought I was this type of person, and then I choose this, and now I choose something opposite, and I didn't know. And I felt like I had certain values, but I just couldn't follow them. And then that made me feel bad about myself. Then I had low self-esteem. So I had like all of those, that whole list of 6 things. I had all those things going against me, right? And and how did I find out who I am at soul level? Well, there's a number of things you can do. How I ended up, I think, confirming how I know who I was at soul level was through Akashic Records, and getting to know who I was through like journeying to the Akashic Records and using some divination techniques to find out, to like confirm. But I knew in my heart who I was. I knew in my heart, I just wasn't willing to acknowledge that up to that point. And so some of the things you can do are examine what are some of your earliest memories about growing up, and how you reacted to certain events that happened, like whether it was like a death or something exciting happening, or going to school, or your first times interacting with in a social setting, or using your creative abilities. There's a lot of different aspects of yourself. And when we look back at our youth, we're more genuine in our earlier days, right? So how we did things when we were young gives us a more clearer picture of our genuine nature, how we were back then. We can also look at the values that our parents taught us. A lot of times those are our values, or sometimes we reject the values that our parents gave us and we adopt our own set of values. So what are your values? And, you might just Google values and get like a laundry list of values and go like, yeah, these are my top 5 that I think are most important. And so then you know your values. And then, so do you live in alignment? Do your behaviors match what you say your values are? Do your behaviors match what you say your personality was when you were young, or what your talents and gifts have been as you've gone through life? Maybe you started out very artistic and now you just don't even use that artistic ability, and you've gone down this real analytical path, or maybe the opposite. Maybe you were born a very social person and now you choose to isolate yourself. So there are different clues that you have as to whether you're aligned. Also, you can look at certain big decisions you've made in your life, and how do those like resonate with you? Do they make you feel in shock and horror that you made these decisions the way you made them? well, that will give you a clue that that was not in alignment with who you are. And then you can look at decisions that you made that made you feel really positive and strong and good about yourself and made you feel like, wow, I am in flow. I'm at the top of my game. I'm living the life I want to live. And that is who you are. That's who you are. So know who you are. And then examine what's missing in your relationships, or what feels off, like, maybe this isn't a deal breaker, but it's really bothering me, or what's really making you mad. And then see, is your behavior. All right, can you guys hear me? Because it looked like I don't know if my connection went out or what, but my video seemed to disappear on this end. It looks like it's back on now. But is your behavior or thought process incongruent with your soul level persona? Is that what is causing you um, to make decisions that in your relationship they're causing these issues? Or could it be the other person? So maybe the other person is not living in alignment with who they are. So don't take all the blame for what's going on in your relationship and blame it on yourself because you're not in alignment. I mean, it's a two-way street, right? There's more than one person in a relationship. So some things could be the other person, but don't look to them don't blame somebody else for everything in a relationship. Only do that after you look within yourself and say, was my behavior out of alignment with who I am? All right. And then, so solving the issue of alignment is a whole nother show. So, there's only so far we can go in Soul Shift Saturday today on that. But the first step is identifying those issues, and then focus on aligning the areas with the greatest impact. So wherever you've discovered in that self-examination, where, hey, I really have these gifts and talents, I'm not even using them. My job has nothing to do with these gifts and talents. What I'm doing with other people, with my spouse, doesn't have any, it's not in line with my values. Like, for instance, my spouse likes to go out drinking every night, and this isn't my spouse, but my spouse likes to go out drinking every night and dancing, and that's not in alignment with how I want to live my life, right? Or not in line with my values or whatever. So that's something that goes back kind of to making commitments you don't really want to. Maybe sometimes you do that activity to do something with them, and then another day you do something that you want to do, and you both do that. But other than a compromise like that, just talk about it. You have to bring those things to light in a relationship where you say, that's not really who I am. And you want the other person to know who you are. And maybe you kind of had a shift. Maybe you're now moving into alignment. Maybe you're more awake, you're moving into alignment, and you're not who you were when you first met that person. So you need to let them know, because otherwise it's just going to lead to more and more problems down the road. All right, so we are going to do, if this is okay. Oh, hold on, let me check the comments. Oh, it's back on. Well, so it did go off. I'm so sorry. I don't know. It must have been an internet snafu. All right, so now we're going to do this higher self-alignment meditation really quickly. Really quickly. No, it's not a super long meditation. I'm thinking it should only take, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I don't have a script for this. A lot of times I'll like kind of write a script for a meditation out ahead of time. This one, it's going to be kind of organic. But what I do want it to be is, I want to use fire for this meditation. And so if you can use this, get it like a candle and use the flame. And so this, we're going to like stare into the flame, and I'm going to just put it right up here. And then also I want to use a crystal. I like crystals, and I like this one because it's rose quartz. It looks kind of clear in the camera, but it's actually just a light pink. It's a very light rose quartz, which represents the heart chakra to me. And also it's a dragon head, and dragon is one of the spirit animals that I connect with a lot. And so I want to connect with dragon energy and use this rose quartz to like expand my heart chakra. So if you have a favorite crystal, it doesn't have to be rose quartz. It could be anything that helps you to expand your heart chakra. Feel free to use a crystal. Move that over a little bit. Oh, y'all can't even see that. There we go. Okay. So I got my flame and my dragon. And so I'm going to put on a little music. And like I said, I practiced this before. And hopefully you'll be able to hear the music. Oh no, we'll try. All right, so I want you to get relaxed and take a few deep breaths with me. Slow deep breaths in through your nose. And hold it in a little bit. And then release. And again. Hold and release. Feel all the tension leaving your body. All right, breathe in one more time through nose. Deep breath. Hold and release. And I hope you didn't blow out your candle. Now I want you to just stare into your flame as I talk you through this meditation. Or you can close your eyes and imagine a flame in your mind, just something to focus on with fire. And that fire is the fire in your solar plexus. It's your identity. It's your I am. It's your energy center that lets you know exactly who you are. And as you keep breathing at a comfortable pace, and with each breath, I want you to feel your heart chakra expand. So breathe in through your heart. Breathe out through your heart. And as you breathe out, your heart chakra expands. So this green energy feels expanding around you. And feel that fire in your belly. That's your who I am. Now, picture a golden cord coming up from the top of your crown of your head. And this gold cord is floating up into space, up into your soul star chakra. And that helps you to connect to your higher self. Gives you like a lifeline of communication. And picture that green heart chakra aura floating up the cord, the golden cord. And so now you have this column of green light going up the cord into your soul star chakra and connecting with your higher self. And now you are in the presence of your higher self. Hello, higher self. I love you. And I feel the love you have for me. No one's ever loved you so much. Now ask your higher self to clear all blocks to your alignment with your earth body. Higher self, I ask you to remove all blocks to alignment with you. And I know you are aligned to divine source. So through you, I am aligned to divine source with no blocks. The blocks are gone. Higher self, allow me to stand in my own power. Give me the strength to know who I am. Give me the courage to be who I am, to act in alignment with who I am. Because I am divine. I am love. I am creator. Higher self, give me the words to speak authentically, to speak my truth, to speak the words that I am here to speak that are part of my purpose, that are aligned to my purpose here on earth. Relay that authenticity to me now. Higher self, give me the love I need to be myself in my relationships and to approach differences with other people in love, out of love, not out of anger, out of fear. Help me to wash away all anger and fear in my relationships and approach differences with love and acceptance. Higher self, thank you. Thank you for being beautiful and true and love. I accept your gifts. I accept who I am. And I'm going to use who I am to fulfill my purpose here on earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, you're going to release your connection for now with higher self. Come back into the room. Thank the element of fire for helping you to achieve that focus and connection. Thank your any spirit guides who are present. And just come back into the room. And now find a way to ground. Usually I say, kind of just shake your hands and your feet. Maybe take a drink of water. Be sure to hydrate, because after a spiritual experience, you need some hydration. For some reason, it can really dehydrate you. All right. Let me see if I can tone down the audio here a little. Oops, that's not the right thing. All right. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that meditation and that you're able to hear the music and my voice at the same time, and that you got that that one-on-one time with your higher self in a true, authentic container. Now, I felt emotion. I don't know if you heard that in my voice. I felt so much emotion, so much love being transmitted to me from my higher self, and just holding me in that kind of agape love that is unconditional. Um, only source energy in your higher self can really do that. You know, give you that much of a feeling of being held. So I hope that you got something out of that today. You can always watch the meditation in replay if you want to do it again. You do it as many times as you need to. And good luck finding your true self. And I hope that helps you in your relationships. Let's see if there's any comments or questions. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed that meditation. And I really enjoyed being with you today. I feel so much love for you. And now, what I want you to do before I go is make sure you're shielding yourself, because you just open yourself wide up, expanding your heart chakra. I want you to kind of bring that heart chakra back in and, just contain it. Maybe put up a little bubble around yourself so that you're not like so open that you're feeling everyone else's emotions around you and letting people get vampire off of your energy. All right. And then you'll feel good the rest of the day. So put that little bubble of protection around you. Just picture it like a glass bubble or any kind of bubble gum bubble, some kind of bubble around you, a shield. And I love you. See you next Saturday for the next episode. And remember, I'll be trying to post during the week a couple of times in relation to this topic. Bye.